I think that we all should be striving to be unapologetically worthy. We are worthy, but here's the thing. Most of us do not think that we are worthy, because worthiness has been one of those things that we always talk about it, maybe not in depth. A lot of times we think about self-confidence, but not necessarily worthiness. I think we all can learn something about being worthy. And I'm a person who's been through so many trials and challenges, and I consider myself pretty worthy. But at the end of the day, I always think that sometimes we still have something to learn. A lot of times when we feel like we don't lack in a certain area, then we don't dig into that area. Believing that you are enough is one of those things that I tell so many people, because I understand what it feels like to not feel like I am enough. Like a lot of times when you don't feel like you are up to par, you start striving for more and more success, only to fall and realize you still don't feel worthy. It's a travesty. I do know that you're not alone. One of the quotes that stuck out to me in Jamie's book, it says, "In life, you don't soar to the level of your hopes and dreams. You stay stuck at the level of your self-worth. You don't rise to what you believe is possible. You fall to what you believe you are worthy of." Like a lot of times we are trying to reach all these big hopes in our life, but at the end of the day, if we don't feel like we're worthy of those things, then we're not going to get there. Back early on, I've been trying to work in my God-given gift, but at the end of the day, I was really consumed with success. I was trying to climb that ladder of success only to feel unworthy of having that whole success. It was deep-seated unworthiness that I didn't feel like I was worthy enough to even start the business, even though I was called by God to pour into the lives of women. I was called, but yet and still, I have these deep-seated feelings of unworthiness. There are so many of us who are out there feeling like we don't belong, have what we have, that we are an imposter, when none of it's true, but that's just what we feel. Most of us try to work on our self-confidence, but not our self-worth. Self-worth is internal, but on the other hand, self-confidence is how you evaluate yourself based on your qualities, skills, and traits. And I think that most of us would rather work on our self-confidence versus our self-worth. So many of us are so scared of doing the work that we just don't do it. We literally go throughout our lives just trying to build self-esteem, be the best that we can, but we don't do the work. And I had to go on a journey of my own personal development and do the work. And then I found the thing called coaching. What I didn't know about coaching was that it was also going to change my life. Not only was I learning a skill that would help me help others change their lives, I also learned a skill that helped me change my life. Things started to change. I began to figure out my story and what stories am I telling myself, and the stories that we tell ourselves are true to us until we challenge the stories that we tell ourselves. I also think it's important to know that inherently you are enough. You're more than enough. And that's how worthiness is for us. You are enough. And so if you've been feeling like me, just not feeling like you add up or that you really matter, I want to be one of the first persons to say, you do matter, and you matter just the way you are. And so instead of trying to build your self-confidence, I want us to dig into what it takes to build your worthiness, because it needs to start now if you're going to start going through a process of loving and caring for yourself. Worthiness is an inside job. We are super scared to sit down and really face the fact that this is how we feel. Like most people are not going to admit that. This is something that you have to tell yourself so that we can face it head on. So one of the things I want you to do is, if you do feel like you have a problem being unapologetically worthy, I want you to think about and challenge your limiting beliefs.